Terry Paxton Bradshaw is an American former professional football player who was a quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the National Football League. Since 1994, he has been a television sports analyst and co-host of Fox NFL Sunday. Bradshaw is also an actor and singer, having participated in many television shows and films, most notably starring in the movie Failure to Launch and releasing several country music albums. He played for 14 seasons with Pittsburgh, won 4 Super Bowl titles in a 6-year period, becoming the first quarterback to win 3 and 4 Super Bowls, and led the Steelers to 8 AFC Central championships. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1989, his first year of eligibility. Bradshaw was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1996. Widely considered to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Bradshaw is known as a tough competitor and for having one of the most powerful arms in NFL history. His physical skills and on-the-field leadership played a major role in the Steelers' history. During his career, he passed for more than 300 yards in a game only 7 times, but 3 of those performances came in the postseason. In 4 career Super Bowl appearances, he passed for 932 yards and 9 touchdowns, both Super Bowl records at the time of his retirement. In 19 career postseason games, he completed 261 passes for 3,833 yards. Early years Bradshaw was born in Shreveport, Louisiana. His father, William Marvin "Bill" Bradshaw, a native of Sparta, Tennessee, was a veteran of the United States Navy, a former vice president of manufacturing of the Riley Beard Company in Shreveport, and a Southern Baptist layman. Terry's mother, Novis, was one of 5 children of Clifford and Lula Gay of Red River Parish, Louisiana. He has an older brother, Gary, and a younger brother, Craig. The work ethic was particularly strong in the Bradshaw household. In his early childhood, the family lived in Comanche, Iowa, where he set forth the goal to play professional football. When he was a teenager, Bradshaw returned with his family to Shreveport. There, he attended Woodlawn High School, played under assistant coach A. L. Williams, and led the Knights to the AAA state championship game in 1965. But lost 12-9 to the Sulphur Golden Tornadoes. While at Woodlawn, he set a national record for throwing the javelin at 245 feet. His exploits earned him a spot in the Sports Illustrated feature Faces in the Crowd. Bradshaw's successor as Woodlawn's starting quarterback was another future NFL standout, Joe Ferguson of the Buffalo Bills. Bradshaw's Steelers would defeat Ferguson's Bills in a 1974 divisional playoff game. College career Bradshaw decided to attend Louisiana Tech University in Ruston. He has much affinity for his alma mater, and is a member of the Tau Kappa Epsilon fraternity. Initially, he was second on the depth chart at quarterback behind Phil Roxy Robertson, who would later become famous as the inventor of the Duck Commander duck call and television personality on the A&E program Duck Dynasty. When he arrived at Tech in 1966, Bradshaw caused a media frenzy on account of his reputation of being a football sensation from nearby Shreveport. Robertson was a year ahead of Bradshaw, and was the starter for 2 seasons in 1966 and 1967, and chose not to play in 1968. As Robertson put it, "I'm going for the Ducks, you can go for the Bucks." In 1969, Bradshaw was considered by most professional scouts to be the most outstanding college football player in the nation. As a junior, he amassed 2,890 total yards, ranking number 1 in the NCAA, and led his team to a 9-2 record and a 33-13 win over Akron in the Rice Bowl. In his senior season, he gained 2,314 yards, ranking 3rd in the NCAA, and led his team to an 8-2 record. His decrease in production was mainly because his team played only 10 games that year, and he was taken out of several games in the second half because his team had built up a huge lead. Bradshaw graduated owning virtually all Louisiana Tech passing records at the time. In 1970, Bradshaw received the Golden Plate Award of the American Academy of Achievement. In 1984, he was inducted into the inaugural class of the Louisiana Tech Sports Hall of Fame. 4 years later, he was inducted into the state of Louisiana's Sports Hall of Fame. NFL career Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1970 NFL Draft. Bradshaw was the first overall player selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers drew the first pick in the draft after winning a coin flip tiebreaker with the Chicago Bears due to the teams having identical 1-13 records in 1969. Bradshaw was hailed at the time as the consensus number 1 pick. Bradshaw became a starter in his second season after splitting time with Terry Hanratty in his rookie campaign. During his first few seasons, the 6 feet 3 inches, 215-pound quarterback was erratic, threw many interceptions and was widely ridiculed by the media for his rural roots and perceived lack of intelligence. It took Bradshaw several seasons to adjust to the NFL, but he eventually led the Steelers to 8 AFC Central championships and 4 Super Bowl titles. The Pittsburgh Steelers featured the "Steel Curtain" defense and a powerful running attack led by Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier, but Bradshaw's strong arm gave them the threat of the deep pass, helping to loosen opposing defenses. In 1972, he threw the "immaculate reception" pass to Franco Harris to beat the Raiders in the AFC divisional playoffs, which is among the most famous plays in NFL history. Bradshaw temporarily lost the starting job to Joe Gilliam in 1974, but he took over again during the regular season. In the 1974 AFC Championship game against the Oakland Raiders, his fourth-quarter touchdown pass to Lynn Swann proved to be the winning score in a 24-13 victory.
In the Steelers' 16-6 Super Bowl IX victory over the Minnesota Vikings that followed, Bradshaw completed 9 of 14 passes and his fourth-quarter touchdown pass put the game out of reach and helped take the Steelers to their first Super Bowl victory.
In Super Bowl X following the 1975 season, Bradshaw threw for 209 yards, most of them to Swan, as the Steelers beat the Dallas Cowboys 21-17. His late fourth-quarter, 64-yard touchdown pass to Swan, released a split second before defensive tackle Larry Cole flattened him, was selected by NFL Films as the greatest throw of all time. Neck and wrist injuries in 1976 forced Bradshaw to miss 4 games.
He was sharp in a 40-14 victory over the Baltimore Colts, completing 14 of 18 passes for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns, but the Steelers' hopes of a three-peat ended when both of their 1,000-yard rushers were injured in the win over the Colts, and the Steelers subsequently lost to the Oakland Raiders in the AFC Championship game, 24-7.
Jack Lambert asserted that the 1976 Steelers team was the best team that he ever played on, including the 4 Super Bowl teams of which he was a part.
Bradshaw had his finest season in 1978 when he was named the NFL's most valuable player by the Associated Press after a season in which he completed 207 of 368 passes for 2,915 yards and a league-leading 28 touchdown passes.
He was also named All-Pro and All-AFC that year, despite throwing 20 interceptions.
Before Super Bowl XIII, a Steelers-Cowboys rematch, Cowboys linebacker Thomas Hollywood Henderson famously ridiculed Bradshaw by saying, he couldn't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the Bradshaw got his revenge by winning the Most Valuable Player award, completing 17 of 30 passes for a then-record 318 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 35-31 win.
Bradshaw has in later years made light of the ridicule with quips such as, "It's football, not rocket science." Bradshaw won his second straight Super Bowl MVP award in 1979 in Super Bowl XIV. He passed for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 31-19 win over the Los Angeles Rams. Early in the fourth quarter, with Pittsburgh down 19-17, Bradshaw again turned to the long pass to help engineer a victory, a 73-yard touchdown to John Stallworth. Bradshaw shared Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year award that season with fellow Pittsburgh star Willie Stargell, whose Pirates won the 1979 World Series. After 2 seasons of missing the playoffs, Bradshaw played through pain. He needed a cortisone shot before every game because of an elbow injury sustained during training camp, in a strike-shortened 1982 NFL season. He still managed to tie for the most touchdown passes in the league with 17. In a 31-28 playoff loss to the San Diego Chargers, Bradshaw's last postseason game, he completed 28 of 39 passes for 325 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. After undergoing offseason elbow surgery, Bradshaw was idle for the first 14 games of the 1983 NFL season. Then on December 10, 1983, against the New York Jets, he felt a pop in his elbow while throwing his final pass, a 10-yard touchdown to Calvin Sweeney in the second quarter of the Steelers' 34-7 win. Bradshaw later left the game and never played again. The 2 touchdowns Bradshaw threw in what would be the final NFL game played at Shea Stadium allowed him to finish his career with 2 more touchdowns than interceptions. Bradshaw's retirement came as a surprise to some, and in hindsight unplanned on the Steelers' part. Before Bradshaw's elbow problems came about, the team chose to pass up Pitt quarterback Dan Marino in the 1983 NFL Draft as an heir successor to Bradshaw due in part to head coach Chuck Noll wanting to rebuild on defense and, according to Bill Hillgrove, the Rooney family not wanting Marino to face a lot of pressure in his hometown and needing to experience life outside of Oakland, where Marino grew up and where Pitt is located. The player the Steelers drafted instead only played 6 games before becoming a quadriplegic following a drunk driving accident, and Marino's subsequent success with the Miami Dolphins prompted Art Rooney to remind his sons daily until his death that the team should have drafted Marino. The decision also set the franchise back at quarterback. While the team would eventually return to being a Super Bowl contender after their rebuilding period during the mid-1980s, the team wouldn't have a consistent quarterback until Ben Roethlisberger arrived in 2004. Although the Steelers have not officially retired Bradshaw's number 12, they have not reissued it since his retirement and it is understood that no Steeler will ever wear it again. After football in July 1997, Bradshaw served as the presenter when Mike Webster, his center on the Steelers' Super Bowl XIII and XIV title teams, was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. In 2006, despite the Steelers being one of the teams playing in the game, Bradshaw did not attend a pregame celebration for past Super Bowl MVPs during Super Bowl 40 in Detroit, Michigan. According to reports, Bradshaw requested a $100,000 guarantee for his appearance in the Super Bowl MVP parade, and associated appearances. The NFL could not guarantee that they would make that much and refused. A representative for Bradshaw has since denied this report. After an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Bradshaw stated that the reason why he did not attend the MVP parade was that he was spending time with family, that he hates the crowds and the Super Bowl media circus, and also that the only way he would attend a Super Bowl is when Fox is broadcasting the game, though Bradshaw attended several press conferences in Detroit days earlier. Bradshaw also stated that money was not an issue. In April 2006, Bradshaw donated his 4 Super Bowl rings, College Football Hall of Fame ring, Pro Football Hall of Fame ring, Hall of Fame bust, 4 miniature replica Super Bowl trophies, and a helmet and jersey from one of his Super Bowl victories to his alma mater, Louisiana Tech. On November 5, 2007, during a nationally televised Monday Night Football game, Bradshaw joined former teammates including Franco Harris and Joe Green to accept their position on the Pittsburgh Steelers' 75th anniversary all-time team.
Broadcasting career. Bradshaw retired from football on July 24, 1984, and quickly signed a television contract with CBS to become an NFL game analyst in 1984, where he and play-by-play announcer Vern Lundquist had the top-rated programs.
Prior to his full-time work for them, he served as a guest commentator for CBS Sports' NFC postseason broadcasts from 1980 to 82. Bradshaw was promoted into television studio analyst for the NFL Today in 1990. In 1994, with the Fox network establishing its sports division with their purchase of NFL TV rights, Bradshaw joined Fox NFL Sunday, where he normally acts as a comic foil to his co-hosts. On Fox NFL Sunday he hosts two semi-regular features, 10 Yards with TB, where he fires random questions at an NFL pro, and the Terry Awards, an annual comedic award show about the NFL season. As a cross-promotional stunt, he also hosted two consecutive Digi Bowl specials in 2001 and 2002 on Fox Kids, providing commentary from the NFL on Fox Studio in between episodes of Digimon, Digital Monsters. The 2002 special was the final one as the Fox Kids block ended the same year. He appeared on the first broadcast of NASCAR on Fox where he took a ride with Dale Earnhardt at Daytona International Speedway the night before Earnhardt was killed in a last-lap crash in the Daytona 500. Bradshaw also waved the green flag at the start of the ill-fated race. Bradshaw has the reputation of being the "ol' redneck," but, in co-host and former NFL coach Jimmy Johnson's words, the act is a shtick. According to Johnson, Bradshaw deflects such criticism by stating that he's so dumb that he has to have somebody else fly his private plane. Bradshaw has also garnered the reputation for criticizing players and teams. Following Super Bowl 46 he was confronted by Ann Mara, wife of the late Wellington Mara, and heckled, for not picking the Giants to win on Fox NFL Sunday. For his work in broadcasting, Bradshaw has won 3 Sports Emmy Awards as a studio analyst. Business career. During the early part of his career with the Steelers, Bradshaw was a used car salesman during the offseason to supplement his income, as this was still during the days when most NFL players didn't make enough money to focus solely on football. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Bradshaw sold peanut butter with his name and image on the label. Commercials were run on television in the Shreveport market. Bradshaw has also written or co-written 5 books and recorded 6 albums of country, western and gospel music. His cover of "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry" hit top 20 on Billboard's country chart in 1976. 2 other tunes also made the country charts. In 2001, Bradshaw entered the world of NASCAR by joining with Highline Performance Group Racing Team to form Fitz Bradshaw Racing. He also is the spokesman for Yanni King International, Inc. Bradshaw ended his ownership in 2006. Among U.S. consumers, Bradshaw remains one of pro football's most popular retired players. As of September 2007, Bradshaw was the top-ranked former pro football player in the Davy Brown Index, which surveys consumers to determine a celebrity's appeal and trust levels. Personal life. Bradshaw has been married 4 times. He was first married to Melissa Babish from 1972–73, to ice skater JoJo Starbuck from 1976–83, and to family attorney Charla Hopkins, who is the mother of his 2 daughters, Rachel and Erin, from 1983–99. Erin Bradshaw shows champion paint and quarter horses and is an honors graduate of the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. Rachel Bradshaw is a graduate of Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, and appeared in Nashville, a reality television series about young musicians trying to make it in Nashville, and is the widow of former Tennessee Titans kicker Rob Barones. The first 3 of Bradshaw's marriages have all ended in divorce, a subject he ridicules frequently on his NFL pregame show. Bradshaw was married for the 4th time, on July 8, 2014, to Tammy, his girlfriend of 15 years. After his NFL career ended, Bradshaw disclosed that he had frequently experienced anxiety attacks after games. The problem worsened in the late 1990s after his 3rd divorce, when he said he could not bounce back, as he had after the previous divorces or after a bad game. In addition to anxiety attacks, his symptoms included weight loss, frequent crying, and sleeplessness. He was diagnosed with clinical depression. Since then he has taken Paxil regularly. He chose to speak out about his depression to overcome the stigma associated with it and to urge others to seek help. Bradshaw's anxieties about appearing in public, away from the controlled environment of a television studio, led to an unintentional estrangement from the Steelers. When team founder and owner Art Rooney died in 1988, Bradshaw did not attend his funeral. A year later, during his Hall of Fame induction speech, Bradshaw made a point of saluting his late boss and friend, pointing to the sky and saying, "Art Rooney. Boy, I tell you, I loved that man." Still, Bradshaw never returned to Three Rivers Stadium for a Steelers game. When the last regular season game was played there on December 16, 2000, Bradshaw was with the Fox NFL Sunday crew, doing their pregame show aboard the aircraft carrier USS Harry S. Truman, while Fox covered the game live. Bradshaw expressed regret that he could not be there, but would later say privately that he did not feel he could face the crowds. It would not be until September 2002, when fellow Hall of Fame teammate and longtime friend Mike Webster died, that Bradshaw finally returned to Pittsburgh to attend his friend's funeral. In October 2002, Bradshaw returned to the Steelers sideline for the first time in 20 years for a Monday night game between the Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. In 2003, when the Steelers played the 1,000th game in franchise history, Fox covered the game at Heinz Field, and Bradshaw returned to cover the game. In addition to appearing to take his position on the Steelers' all-time team in 2007 as part of the team's 75th anniversary festivities, he also was on the sideline for the 2007 home opener, where the Steelers earned their 500th regular season win. Politically, Bradshaw is a longtime supporter of the Republican Party. In 2012, he went on record on Fox News as supporting the candidacy of Newt Gingrich for the Republican presidential nomination.
In the same interview, he also labeled linebacker Terrell Suggs an idiot for making comments critical of Denver Broncos quarterback Tim Tebow's public remarks about his Christian faith, saying Suggs better be careful, if I were him I'd be on my hands and knees tonight asking for forgiveness because that's totally unacceptable. Relationship with Chuck Noll. While Terry Bradshaw never had any problems with the Rooney family, he had a complicated relationship with Steelers head coach Chuck Noll.
Noll and Bradshaw had an uneasy relationship during his playing days, with Bradshaw stating that he felt that Noll was too hard on him and never liked him, though the two made peace before Noll's death in 2014. In an interview with NFL Films in 2016 for an episode of A Football Life about Noll, Bradshaw felt that the two had too much of a culture clash with their personalities. Bradshaw also stated that Noll belittled him constantly and wanted positive reinforcement instead of being grabbed at. In the same episode, however, former Steelers public relations director Joe Gordon characterized the animosity as a one-way street, with former teammate Jack Ham adding that Noll insulated Bradshaw from certain issues while taking a "rest of us be damned" approach with the other players. In an archival interview, Noll described his relationship with Bradshaw as professional and businesslike, and that his personality needed to conform with the team, adding that it worked, even if Bradshaw didn't like it. Nonetheless, Bradshaw chose not to attend Noll's funeral despite being in Pittsburgh at the time. Television and film career. Bradshaw has appeared in numerous television commercials. The most recent was the series of live ads for Tide detergent along with his Fox Sports co-host Kurt Menefee, where Bradshaw shows up with a shirt stain on what appeared to be live TV from the Fox broadcast booth at Super Bowl 51 and then washes it with Tide at the house of Jeffrey Tambor. The teasers leading up to the Super Bowl showed Tambor initially taking his shirts to Rob Gronkowski's dry cleaners only to see the sleeves get ripped out. Near the end of the Super Bowl, Menefee spills coffee on his shirt but Tambor, who is watching on TV, refuses to help out.
Bradshaw has had cameo appearances in many shows as himself, including Brotherly Love, Everybody Loves Raymond, Married with Children, Modern Family, The Larry Sanders Show and The League.
He also appeared on Malcolm in the Middle with Howie Long as the trashy coach of a women's ice hockey team. He hosted a short-lived television series in 1997 called Home Team with Terry Bradshaw. In addition to his television work, Bradshaw has appeared in several movies, including a part in the 1978 film Hooper, which starred Burt Reynolds, Jan Michael Vincent, and Sally Field, and made an appearance in the 1981 film The Cannonball Run. In 1980, he had a cameo in Smokey and the Bandit 2, which starred Burt Reynolds, Jerry Reed, and Sally Field. He made a guest appearance in The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. in 1994, playing Colonel Forrest March, a rogue U.S. Army officer who gave orders to his squad in a huddle using football diagrams. Bradshaw appeared on Jeff Foxworthy's short-lived sitcom, The Jeff Foxworthy Show, as a motivational speaker for people needing to change their lives. Bill Engvall's character is affected by Bradshaw's rantings about witchcraft and voodoo in his pre-game warm-ups. On October 11, 2001, Bradshaw received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the first NFL player to do so. In 2006, Bradshaw returned to the silver screen in the motion picture Failure to Launch. He and Kathy Bates played the parents of Matthew McConaughey's character. In one notable scene he appeared nude, which his own daughters didn't even know about until they saw the movie's premiere with their grandmother, and was half-heartedly warned by Bradshaw just moments before the scene. Bradshaw's nude scene would be referenced by Jay Leno, who spent an entire segment mocking it during an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. He mentioned on May 23, 2008, on The Tonight Show that he has been a guest 37 times, and that 34 of them were on a Friday, which happens to be the lowest watched night of television. He pleasantly joked with Jay about being a filler guest. He made a similar reference in an appearance on March 15, 2010, stating he was asked to guest because of a cancellation. Jay stated that at least he was not appearing on Friday, which hosts the more well-known celebrity guests. As of December 28, 2012, Bradshaw has made 50 appearances on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. He is also a devout Christian and wrote the book Terry Bradshaw, Man of Steel with broadcaster Dave Dials. Since 2010, Bradshaw has been hosting television shows produced by United States Media Television. In 2016 and 2018, Bradshaw had a leading role in the NBC reality travel series Better Late Than Never, where he travels around the world with William Shatner, Henry Winkler, George Foreman and Jeff Dye. In 2017, he had a supporting role as a fictionalized version of himself in the comedy film Father Figures. On January 16, 2019, he was revealed on the third episode of The Masked Singer to be the Deer. On January 2, 2020, he was on the Season 8 premiere of Last Man Standing. On September 17, 2020, Terry and Family premiered in the new reality show The Bradshaw Bunch.